Today we have the 2014 Nissan Rogue. We're doing the front brakes and rotors. I've got the lug nuts loosened before I jacked it up. I've got the back tires set and planted with some stoppers. And we're gonna get this tire off, get it jacked up, and let's get started. Alright, so with the tire off, we've got this all exposed. I don't believe he needs new rotors. As you can see, there is no lip on them. They're not worn and damaged. Check the pads, make sure nothing's like grinding or the pads are really worn down. Yeah, so pretty much I'm just going to do the brakes now. And if I need to do the rotors, test drive it, I'll do the rotors. But if I were to do the rotors, this, as you can see, pops right off. Once you get this caliper off, you'll take these two bolts off here. And then there's these bolts right back here. And that removes this whole thing here. So once we get this whole assembly off, this should fall off. And if it doesn't, take a rubber mallet, give it a few smacks, and then this should just come right off. There is nothing holding it down, as you can see. So let's go ahead and get the rest of this caliper off, and let's get these pads changed. Alright, so I got the caliper off. I just set it back here. Just be careful not to let it drop or anything. You don't want to damage the hose. This, a little worn down. It does look a little nasty. So we're going to go ahead and definitely replace these with these new ones. As you can tell the difference, they're a lot thicker, a lot bigger. And let's just go ahead and get started. It should be all set up now. I'm going to use my brake cleaner, clean out this rotor, and do the best I can on it. And once we get that cleaned up, I'll get the new pads put on and put this side back together. So I got the new pad set. You'll notice this pad right here has this part. This is where the caliper sits against. I used some brake lubricant, all contact points. So we have our caliper tool set. This plate goes over here, and then this piece goes right here, and what we do is we just crank this down until we get our caliper set in position for new brake pads. So once we get this on here, I'm going to come down to here, make sure these are all tight, and then once this is all flat and stopped, then we can slide this over here with no problem. Alright, with the caliper set into place, you're just going to take it, slides right over, and then I'm going to use both hands now. We're going to put the bolts back on and get to the other side, and then we're going to test drive it. And if there's any vibrations in the steering wheel, anything feeling out of place, then we're going to go back and probably need to change the rotors. So we went ahead, got the bolts put in place. As you can see, it's still pretty loose. It won't tighten down until we start pumping the brakes, which we'll do after all this. I'm going to do the other side in just the same steps, and once you get done with both sides, you can sit there and pump the brakes for a while until your calipers are set in place, and then just give it a test drive, make sure everything's braking fine, make sure everything's working. No leaks, nothing's going on, no rocking in the steering wheel. If there's rocking or anything like that, we'll probably take it back and do these rotors, but I honestly don't think these rotors need done. But that is how you do a 2014 Nissan Frontier.